Hello everyone, today we're going to be talking about Hangar 0, and this is the detailed guide on how to do every single boss as well as all the proper mechanics. So without further ado, let's begin. So once you enter the dungeon, you'll spawn like here, and then you just run forward and there's going to be a boss over there. And so once you're in the boss room, you'll notice that it's kind of split into a grid. So for anyone who's actually played Bomberman, this should be pretty familiar. It's a grid system, so it's like tic-tac-toe, and basically the boss is going to stand in the middle. And for this fight, I recommend everyone to just dogpile the boss in the middle, except for the people who are doing the mechanics. People who are doing the mechanics, such as myself, and I believe Owl was doing the mechanics in this video, we just stand far away. We stand around like here-ish or here-ish, and we just DPS the boss because we're waiting for the boss to jump. The boss will move away from the middle when the mech phase begins. So I'm just going to roll the clip and I'll explain as things happen. So here we're just going to attack the boss, and it's literally just DPS until he jumps away from the middle. And there we go, second set of drills, and he's going to jump now. So you'll see there's a text indicator over here that he prepares to launch the nano drills. So he's going to shoot a drill into one of these little squares. So as I said earlier, you know how the map is split into a grid. So there's a total of 9 different squares on the map. He's going to shoot a drill into one of it, and then he's going to jump to the opposite direction. So you're going to see that now. So now you can see the mech phase has started, the boss has jumped to the bottom right, and he's shooting a missile over here. This missile is random. It can shoot in any of the quadrants, but you can see that he's shooting on the top middle quadrant. So next thing he's going to do is the boss is going to shoot 2 missiles at the 2 furthest targets. So you can see Owl's very far away and I'm getting far away, so that we two are going to be the farm marks. And what we need to do as farm marks is we need to position ourselves so that the missile he fires at us will get hit by this explosion. Because what's going to happen is the random missile is going to explode in a cross shape. It's going to explode like that and explode like that because of the position. So what Owl needs to do, since he is the furthest mark, is he needs to position himself right here. The reason for that is because we need to cause a chain reaction of the explosions in order to hit the boss to damage it and take off its shield. So that is the reason why Owl needs to stand here, so that when this one explodes in the cross shape, it's going to activate his missile, and it's also going to cause an explosion that will hit these 3 quadrants as well as these over here. As for me, I mess up during the first phase. During the first phase, what I need to do is I should be standing in this quadrant right here where my face cam is, because once this one explodes, it should hit this and it'll explode like that, and it'll also hit the boss. However, only the missile that hits the furthest mark, that is the important one. As long as that one hits the boss, it won't cause a wipe. The second missile is just to cause extra damage. However, if you miss the first missile and it doesn't hit the boss, it will cause a party to wipe. So you're going to see that now. You see over here that we're waiting to get the mark. So you can see once you get the mark over here, you'll notice that you have a little countdown timer on your head. So over here, you'll see that Owl has 4 seconds to get into position. And you're going to see over here that I also have 4 seconds and I should get into position over there. However, you'll see that I run here instead because I thought I could cause a chain reaction like that. However, it doesn't work, so we don't get the extra damage. So you're going to see that here. You see Owl's getting in position, and boom. The moment that timer hits 0, it doesn't matter where you're in on the square. As long as even at the very edge, it's going to automatically target the center of the square. So you can see Owl's missile is here, my missile is here, and then this missile over here at the bottom corner, the random one, the boss is going to zap it. It's going to explode in a cross shape. It's going to hit this one, which is the important one, and this will hit the boss. And you'll notice the boss's HP will go down. However, since my missile over here was caught in the crossfire, it actually doesn't do any extra damage. However, if I positioned it over here like what I was supposed to do, it would do extra damage. But you'll see that in the second phase. So see here, boom, boom, 2 missiles come up. And you see over here, he shoots this missile right here, and it's going to blow up in a T shape. And once it blows up in a T shape like that, it's going to hit this missile, and this was going to blow up, and it's going to hit the boss. So let's roll the clip. Boom. And you'll see here, boom. You saw all that mech damage over there. However, you see that my missile over here didn't explode because it wasn't hit by the original missile. So now we're going to see on the second phase, it's going to do the same thing. He jumps far away, and you see he shoots a random missile over here. Since he shot a random missile in this quadrant, we know the explosion is going to be like this and like this, right? So what I need to do is, as the furthest mark, I need to position my missile right here so that I hit the boss. And what Owl needs to do is he needs to position his at the bottom right corner where the boss was earlier in order to hit the boss. So you're going to see that now. So you see over here that again, I got the farm mark. I have a little timer over here, 4 seconds. I'm just going to wait here until I get the missile and then it'll explode. We're just waiting. And you can see Owl over here. He's also in position over there so that when this missile, again, when it explodes, it'll make a cross shape like that. And it's going to hit my missile over here and Owl's missile over here. So both explosions will hit the boss and kill it. So we're going to see that now. 3, 2, 1. Here comes my missile. It's going to come down. Boom. Okay. The boss is going to shoot the random missile that he hit. And it's going to cause an explosion. You can see here. Boom and boom. And it's dead because of the mech damage. So the first mini boss is relatively easy. You just need to understand that the farm marks, the 2 farm marks, are doing all the mechanics. Everyone else just dogpile the boss and just follow the boss wherever he goes. Because if you steal the farm mark and you don't know what you're doing, this is the only boss which will actually wipe you if you don't do the mechanic. Also, he has a really silly shield that makes you do like very little damage. So you can see here that, you know, our damage is ridiculously low because of his shield. So let's move on to the first boss. Okay, so this is the first boss in Hangar 0, and first of all, I highly recommend players to play with the minimap enlarged like this. You can do so with the comma key. The reason is because you'll see over here that there are 4 circles. These circles will light up when mech phase starts. Mech phase is at 90%, 60%, and 30%. And then when these circles light up, it's either going to be one of 2 colors. It will be either green or orange. And what you need to do is you need to change the colors to the opposite color of what the boss's shield is during the phase. And while 2 people are changing the colors of the circles, the boss will also shoot a spin top. You'll shoot the spin top somewhere around him. It's not a set location. And one person's job is to make sure that they block the spin top. So over here, they need to block the spin top and then they can auto attack it and push it towards one of these circles, one of these D-pads, as I like to call them. And once he pushes it into the D-pad, the spin top will start spinning towards the direction of where the D-pads are pointing at. And so we're going to see that, and I'll explain as things happen. At the very beginning, it's very simple. We're just going to raw DPS him until he gets to 90%. So until then, it's super easy because he doesn't have any shield. However, at 90%, he's going to jump into the middle and cause this little red attack. And so you just self-iframe that or home moon block. And then once that happens, you're going to see over here that these circles have changed colors. So you see there is 2 greens and 2 oranges. And in order to see what color the boss's shield is, you want to pay attention to this buff right here, the spin tornado looking thing. So you can see that this is an orange buff. So if he's got the orange buff or the orange shield, you need to switch all of the circles to green. So we need to switch this one to green and this one to green. And the 2 furthest people are going to do that. So what's going to happen is the boss is going to target the 2 furthest people and shoot a projectile at them, one at a time. So the 2 furthest people need to make sure that they're positioned on top of these D-pads when that projectile hits them in order to switch the color from orange to green or green to orange. And while this is happening, you're also going to notice that the boss is going to fire a gyro drill. So you're going to see that in a second. So we're attacking. You can see that Alesti right here is getting into position to one of the orange ones. And you'll see that Owl is already positioned himself over there. As you can see on the mini map, this one is Owl and this one is Alesti. They're all going towards their respective circles in order to switch the colors. We're attacking, and boom. So you see over here that the boss has spawned a spin top or a gyro drill. I'm going to call it a spin top from now on because it's easier for me. However, what happens is this spin top's going to start spinning out of the map. And what you need to do is one person needs to block this. The moment they block it, the spin top will stop spinning, and the person who blocked it needs to auto attack it into one of the D-pads. So you're going to see over here, Suki, who is our tank, is going to SS over here. He's going to block the spin top and he's going to hit it towards this D-pad right here so that it starts spinning. So you're going to see that soon. So you see it spins around. And over here, Suki tries to block it. He blocks it in time. And you see he'll start auto-attacking it. And you'll see that he auto-attacks it into this D-pad instead of the one up here. The reason why he didn't hit it into this D-pad was because he wasn't sure if it switched colors yet. Because as I said before, we need to switch all the colors to the opposite color of the boss's shield. The boss has orange shield, so we need to switch it all to green. And this is very important because only when all the circles are green does the spin top gain momentum in order to break his shield. If the colors are wrong, then the spin top will not gain momentum and will not break the shield and you'll fail the mechanic. And once the spin top gets into the D-pad, it's going to start moving towards the direction of whatever the arrow is lit up. So you'll see here that all the green arrows are going to be facing like this. They're going to push the spin top in a square rotation. So it's going to go from this square over here, it's going to go down to here. Then from here, it's going to go across to here, go across to here. And then the next thing that people need to do is they need to position themselves over here in order to create a bumper. So we're going to see that in a second. So you see that the spin top's just spinning and you don't need to do anything. It's automatically going to start turning this direction. The reason why it does that is because we changed all the D-pads already into the green colored. If you change it to the orange colored one, then it'll just go all over the place. So just make sure that the D-pad colors are always the opposite color of what the boss's shield is in order for this mechanic to work. You're going to see here, it's going to spin there and boom, it starts spinning across. And then boom, it's going to start spinning across. And you can see that the little spinner is getting bigger and bigger because it's gaining more and more momentum. And while the top is spinning, you'll also notice that over here that the boss is about to throw a chain. So this chain is basically a chain lightning. And what they need to do is the two furthest people need to conduct with each other and they'll create a tether. And the positioning for these two people are very important. They need to position themselves in the same circle or the same D-pad as where the top was originally pushed into. So as we saw earlier, Suki pushed the top into this D-pad originally. It spun over here, and now it's spinning towards this D-pad over here, and eventually it will come back to the first pad. And so when it's coming back to the first pad, these two people, or the two furthest marks, they need to be in position with the tether to create a 45-degree angle in order to hit the top into the boss. And that will damage the boss's shield as well as deal some mech damage. So we're going to see that now. So you're going to see I'm standing in a very bad position because as you can see over here, the tank is standing here on purpose because the boss is going to do these cone attacks towards the tank. And the tank needs to direct these cone attacks away from the top. Because if any of these purple attacks hit the top, it's going to hit the top away and it's going to fail the mechanic. So you can see that the tank is standing here. He's directing the cone over here away from the top because the top is spinning up here, which the two far marks have already tethered. You can see the tether line right there in the background. But they're creating a 45-degree angle here. So when the top rolls in there, it's going to hit the 45-degree angle and bounce into the boss. It's very important that it's actually 45 degrees. If the angle is off, the top can bounce like there, it can bounce there, and it needs to hit the boss. If it bounces too much to the left or too much to the right, it will not hit the boss and it will actually fail the mechanic. So you can see here that I'm standing in a very awkward spot and boom, boom, boom. And it's very important not to get hit by this attack because you'll see that I have two of this debuff stack and this will make you bleed out very, very fast. In hard mode, it's basically instant death. However, on easy mode, you can sort of survive even though you have two stacks, but it definitely is not something that you want. So what I want you guys to pay attention is over here. So you've got LSD right here, Owl over here. They've got the tether and then the top is coming and is going to bounce into the boss. So we're going to pay attention to that right now. So right there, I know I'm getting hit. There's a lot of flashy lights going on, but the top has just hit the tether over here and it's bouncing into the boss. However, don't worry, there's going to be a lot of footage of this because you have to do this multiple times. You have to do it 3 times per phase. You're going to see that now it bounced off into the boss and we're attacking. And what we're taking off is this shield right here, his gyro shield. You'll notice that he has 3 stacks now. He had 6 stacks originally, but because we did 1 phase correctly, now he's on 3 stacks. We have to do it 2 more times and it'll do some mech damage to him. So now again, the circles are going to light up. We need to pay attention to what the boss's buff is. As you can see over here, it's orange again. So the 2 far marks need to position themselves on the orange circles in order to switch them into green. So you see that they're already in position. They're waiting. He's going to shoot the gyro drill again. And you can see over here that Suki is hitting the gyro drill into one of the D-pads. So it'll start spinning. Again, he's hitting it to the green D-pad because it's the opposite color of what the boss's thing is. So in order to change the color of the orange D-pads, you're paying attention to this thing over here. This thing's going to go towards the far marks, this missile. And once it hits into the D-pad, it'll change the color. So we can pay attention over here to LSD. You see the D-pad, boom, it hits it. It went from orange to green. And now we're good to go. So you see this one's green, 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 and we're just waiting for this one to turn green and we're good to go. And we're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting, and boom. You see, now this one turned green, and you see the missile also just hit him. So now they're all green, and while that's happening, you're also noticing the top is already spinning towards the last one. So because of this, we know that this was the first position. So what Owl and Alesti need to do is they need to run over here to this position so that they get the farm mark and they get the tether, and then create a 45-degree angle so that when the top comes over there, it's going to bounce and hit into the boss. So we're going to see that now. You're just going to pay attention over here. You see right behind me, there's Owl and Alesti. They're waiting, and the boss is about to throw the chain. He'll have this green arm that comes out and is going to zap these two people. So you're going to see that. Zap, zap, zap. And boom, they've created a tether. So right here, I want you to pay attention to the tether that's created over here. So you're going to see this is going to roll in and bounce into the boss. So let's pay attention to that now. Boing. You see? Voila. That bounced into the boss and it did the mech damage, and that was successful. So you'll notice, voila, you see he's lost his gyro shield, so he doesn't have the shield anymore that reduces damage. However, there's one more mech phase before 90% phase is over. It's going to be the same thing. However, if we do this successfully, it will do mech damage to the boss. So again, he's going to pick colors. Boom. So you see his shield again is orange. So the two farm marks need to position themselves on the orange circles to change them into green. So we're waiting, we're waiting, we're waiting. Again, he spawned the top right here. And again, Suki has blocked the top and he's going to hit it towards one of the green tiles in order to start the spinning movement. So he does that. You start hitting it. Boom, 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 boom. So it's very important for the tank over here to make sure that the boss's cone attack, his purple cone attack, does not hit this top. Because if it does hit the top, it will automatically fail the mechanic. So we'll just try to pay attention to that. I'll point it out when it happens. So you see over there that there is this purple attack right here. And the reason for that is because the tank is positioned here. So again, the purple attack is going to be like that. And Suki's on purposely facing it away from the two people who are doing the tether, as well as the top, so that this attack will not hit the top and will not hit the two people. So you see over here that the two people here, they've created a tether, and we're waiting for the top to float in, and then we're going to bounce it into the boss. And voila, now they're waiting. And you can see very clearly here that they created a 45-degree angle. So the trick on creating a 45-degree angle is you stand on this little corner over there and you stand on this little corner over there, and you'll automatically create a 45-degree angle. Make sure not to stand in the path over here, because this top is actually really big and it'll hit you and you'll fail the mechanic if you are actually in the way. So you have to stand on this little corner right there. So you're going to see this now. You can see that the top is going to bounce off it, and boom, you see the top is right here. It's going to bounce into the boss and it's going to do some mech damage. And boom. And so because we did the mech damage, you'll see now that we literally went from 90% phase, we skipped the 60% phase, and we're already at like almost 30% phase. And once you finish one of the phases, whether it be 90%, 60%, or 30%, what's going to happen next is he's going to do explosions, a 5-hit explosion. You can iframe it, sheath it, home moon block, whatever you want to do, and you just do it. So you see 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But once that's done, it's immediately go into phase again, because we hit past 30%. However, if you didn't do the mechs properly, then there's a regular rotation where you just DPS him again until you push him to 60% or 30% before he'll do phase again. So right here, we're at 30% phase. He jumps into the middle, and that's when you know it's phase. You also notice that now his gyro shield's back up and it's 6 stacks again. And once more, you're paying attention to this little tornado color. It's orange again over here, so because it's orange, the two farm marks need to switch the colors to green. So now he's firing the gyro drills, boom, and he'll changing the colors. And again, you'll see that he spawned the little top, and Suki is going to block it, and he's going to push it into one of the D-pads again. So he's probably going to push it to the bottom right D-pad over there, and we're going to see that. See, boom, he's auto-attacking, auto-attacking. And while this is happening, the farm marks over here are changing the colors of the D-pads over there. So you can see that Alesti changed this to green, Owl will change that one to green, and they're both positioning themselves over here now on the first D-pad that Suki originally hit the top into, because they need to create the tether in order to create the bumper, in order to bomb the spinning top into the boss. So it sounds really complicated, but on paper, once you nail down one phase, it's just rinse and repeat the phase 9 times. So it's pretty easy, but it's just practice. It takes a lot of practice. So you see over here, and while this is happening, pay attention to where Suki is, or where the tank is. Again, the tank is positioning himself right here so that the cone attack does not hit the spin top and does not hit the people who are doing the bumper. So you see that over here, that again, Alesti standing right here at the little corner over here. Owl's also standing in a little corner over there. They created a perfect 45-degree angle, so the spin top's going to hit and bounce straight into the boss again. So what you want to also pay attention is look at his gyro shield. It's currently 6 stacks. It's going to go down to 3 stacks. So boom, it hit the boss, and voila. You see, now the boss has 3 stacks of his gyro shield, and the next thing you need to do is pay attention again to his shield. So the moment he spawns the colors, that is when the shield can change colors. It's not always orange. It can actually be green once in a while. We're going to see over here, boom, right here. See, it changed to green. So because it's green, now we need to switch all of the circles to orange. So what I like to do to make life easier for me is I just stand on the circle with the matching color of whatever his shield is. So if it's green, I make sure that I'm standing on a green circle. And if it's orange, I make sure that I'm standing on an orange circle. So you see over here that Alesti's actually already in position. She's on a green circle because green shield, and she's just gonna wait until he shoots the gyro drill on her in order to change the color over there. So voila, there goes the drill. It's gonna change the color, kaboom. And now next thing you know, Owl's standing over here because he's going to try to change this color, this green, into orange as well. Meanwhile, when that's happening, again, Suki over here has blocked this little spin top and he's going to start hitting it towards one of them. He might hit it towards that one over there, or you might hit it towards this one over there. It doesn't really matter as long as you communicate it beforehand, because Owl needs to know which circle to run to or which D-pad to run to. So you see over here, Suki decides to hit it to this one, so Alesti can start running towards it. And then Owl, once he switches this color, he's going to beeline across to make sure that he makes it to the first circle. It doesn't have to be the 2 furthest people or the 2 people changing the colors to always do the conduction in order to make the bumper. Anyone can do it, as long as there's 2 people. However, in this video, this is how we did it. So you see over there, Alesti's circle has been changed to orange. And now we're waiting for Owl. You see this missile's coming over. It's going to hit Owl over there. It's going to change this one to orange. And then Owl's going to start running towards the original position where Suki pushed the spin top. So boom. And you see, voila. Now you see that Alesti and Owl are in position to do the farm arc in order to do the conduction. And the spin top is still spinning. It's going to go all the way around here. And they're going to create the 45-degree angle, boop, into the boss. Easy peasy. Do you see that? Now it does that, creates the conduction. Again, they stand at 45 degrees perfectly. So again, you stand on the little tips right here and you're good to go, and you create that 45-degree angle. So and boom, voila. So now you see he's lost his gyro shield, so now we do regular damage to the boss again. And normally the boss will do the spin top thing one more time. He does it 3 times per phase. However, because we already got him that low and he's just going to die pretty soon, he doesn't get a chance to do it. So you'll see here that we literally just DPS him down and he's just dead now before he actually gets a chance to do anything. So bam, he's dead. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. But yeah, that is the first mini boss as well as boss 1. As for boss 2, that video will come out tomorrow because I don't want this video to be too long. But hopefully this video was helpful. If it was, I would appreciate a subscribe. Or if you want to go that extra mile, please consider becoming a member. Speaking about members, I'd like to thank Gonzola, Konare, Kevin, Zillintex, Overgamers, Yatogami, Arisoya, Jeremy Chen, Nyana, Pearlstyle, Toots McGee, Solo Hero, ST Sin2, and Key for supporting the channel. And as always, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
What can I say except you're welcome for the heals, the boosts, the rest.